Yeah, we can. Yeah, I'm gonna chop this down just so because it has been recording, so I'll just chop it down.
All right.
All right. So, before my computer had almost a meltdown, and we took a small little bereaver. But anyways, continuing on from like your uncle and everything like that, I also want to ask about like so getting so how did you have to like how did like digitizing all the old footage from when you were a kid. How was that a complicated thing for you to do, or was that already digitized?
That was already digitized, and there was a memory card, and I looked through all of the really old footage, and you know, I just got everything that I thought would be usable, and of course, at first there was a lot more clips I could have used, but it's like um, it's like enough to where people, I feel, yeah, like people get the point. It's like that's the voice that popped in my head the most while editing. Because I like a voice popped in my head with like, okay, people get the point. Like. It's like if the point's already established, it's like what's the point of like continuing on with it and just like doing it more and more and more and more if there's no purpose to it. But yeah, that, and then like the footage with the really old footage of Mason, that was from my old really old camcorder, and there's a deleted scene actually of something that I feel like people are really gonna like squint their eyes and kind of like turn their heads like what, like maybe like take people out of it like what the hell, like a shot from a completely different movie just like shows up, like literally just a full-on shot from a different movie like shows up. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Synecdoche, New York.
yeah, yeah.
Well, no, okay, so like that little scene was a lot longer. Like it was like I think like over 2 minutes longer, to where I have narration right before that, and then I close my eyes, and then but before the Birdman music starts, it shows like the idea is that I say that, oh, I wish I could, relive the last 10 years all over again. Like, I didn't think that everything would get so screwed up, and it's after, like, everything, is derailed, but, right before the climax starts. But it shows the first moment to where I pick up a camera in 2005. It like goes all the way back to the beginning. So it's just 2005, me like a really little kid playing with the camera for the first time. And it's like the first time I like, am holding a camera, it's like in Dahmer, like the very first time he like is cutting open a fish, and you see the look in his eyes, and he's so fascinated. It's like that leads to obviously what happened in the future, and it was like that kind of moment to where like you saw like the fascination and interest in my eyes. But so it's like you see like me playing with the camera the first time, and I literally say, I'm the director, and like I take the camera from this girl, and like and then it jumps 10 years later, and then it's like a shot of Dalton like right before we shot the first one on the old camcorder, same one that the old Mason footage was on. And then I say like, it's audio I inserted, it wasn't really said there, like something like, oh, Dalton, we're gonna like let's start a channel, because he was one of the first or something like that. It wasn't that exactly, but it was more, and then he like he shakes my hand, and then so the 10 years after that, then 10 years after that, 2015 is when I started YouTube, and then 10 years later, now is, now, and so it's like 10 years later, 10 years later, and then now, and so, but then it gets into the Birdman stuff, and that was longer too. But I don't know, I thought that would have been interesting, but I thought that's too much. I don't know, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel I'm gonna stop talking about the deleted scenes because I'm gonna release the deleted scenes anyway. So it's like
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of unnecessary.
Oh, it's fine. It'll be in. It's definitely. It definitely. It adds to the. It adds to the meal that people are consuming right now.
Gotcha. Thanks.
But I wanted to ask about because you use a lot of different tracks for the soundtrack compared to. I know you did a lot for the first one, but you also had Bronson do music for the first one. Did you plan to have Bronson do anything for the second movie, or did he just not want to do that?
No, because the next one was uh I mean was basically supposed to be all him, like and which I'm not gonna get too far into it, but like it was basically supposed to be all him and Dalton. And so like he would have had like made music for that one like throughout the entire thing, you know. And so because I thought that I was going to get to do that next. Like no, at first I was going to be a part of this story, but then this story like expanded so much that, and then so like structurally it wouldn't make sense for well, actually no, it could have worked if there was less if the story was way less if there was way less to this story, I could have figured out a way to fit it in there probably like through editing. But I had it in mind that he would do that, and then plus on top of that, I had no idea what the music would be because the movie's not. Bronson's in the movie like a little bit, but it's not about him. So like in a way that the first one was. If Bronson were to have had like a more meaningful role, to where he had more of an arc or whatever, I would have had him do something else similar to the first one. But no, no, I wasn't ever in the no.
Hmm. I not that it's a big not that this is also like because I'm not ready to get into the spoilers just yet, but there is a moment when you talk about Cyrus, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, I said Cyrus. I hope you I hope you found a home.
Yeah,
Which like
because I know you all. I know you probably have you even seen Cyrus since like all those videos or nah?
before I deleted all the Eric and Paul videos, he was gonna be in the movie, but then he didn't like my idea for the story book like for the scene, but then he just left me on red and didn't end up shooting it. I mean, like if which if I didn't delete all those videos, the whole entire third act would have been 100% different.
Right.
Basically, but like I was gonna shoot something else with him, but no, I've you know I actually grew up with Cyrus. I hung out with him with Jake from the old Eric and Paul videos. Who's in the montage quite a few times, with and in the flashback footage and the end credits. But yeah, he's his cousin, and so like when we were really little kids, you know I we used to hang out a lot, but then like after that, and we just did those two videos, and then that was it. And then I never saw him apart from those videos. Actually, no, that's I saw him one more time, and when we were filming the first one, Cyrus was gonna be in the first one with Eric, and I was obviously the Eric scene was in this one, and two was shot before I deleted all the videos. And so like again, there is shitloads, and I'm talking shitloads of dialogue cut from the Eric scene, and I really stripped that one down. But like there was a part in that to where we brought Cyrus up, and then we show the scene. Okay, so I shot a scene with Cyrus. It's not the best. It was for the first one, but it was on the memory card that I lost. Like and like there was a lot of footage that I lost, which I later edited into like a prequel, or technically not a prequel, like a in between quel video thing called where I kind of rip off the title of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and call it Wasting Money and an Alex Leyba story. It's like a prequel, not really a prequel because it takes place during the events of the first one, and like the first day Mason comes, like basically like how the Leyba movie timeline works. Like you watch the first one, and the first like 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, like at a point, pause it and watch the Wasting Money like Alex Leyba story video, then watch the rest of the first movie, and then with the second one, when the Forest Hills scene starts, you pause it, watch the documentary Edward Furlong in the Forest Hills, and then continue watching the Leyba movie too, because it's like those two, like that other movie takes place in the timeline, of course, and like I use a lot of footage of Chico that wasn't in the documentary because it wouldn't have fit, because he's just talking about random philosophical stuff, and it didn't pertain to anything to do with like the anything in the documentary. But I thought, like that's good shit, and so like yeah, Chico doesn't even know he's in the movie, but I forgot where I was going with this. What was the okay? So, what was the
The question was originally about Cyrus.
okay? Yeah, Cyrus. But no, the that Cyrus scene was on the memory card that I lost, and I it was going to be in that scene, but then of course that wouldn't make any sense because, now Cyrus is just erased with the other videos. And so it wouldn't, and so like there was no point to, but I thought, you know what, you know, I'm gonna still put it in the deleted scenes. It's not like a good scene on its own, but for people who really like remember Cyrus and remember that early era of Eric and Paul videos and Cyrus. And it's just funny because like he was talked about so much like in the lore of the channel, but he was only in two videos, technically three, because his voice was in one throughout all of it. One
Oh,
and
that's
it's
right. Because I think his first appearance wasn't it like you guys were at Walmart on Halloween or something like that, or around that,
no, 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 no. It wasn't Halloween. It was January 2017, and then we did one more in March 2017.
where he was
2 months
actually
later.
in the video, right? Where he's at
What?
the.
Or no, no, no. He cameoed in the first Megan video very briefly, and then he did and then we did two videos, and then that was it. But then like so the Cyrus scene will be in the deleted scenes. Yeah.
All right, yeah, because I always remember him. The very first video when you guys picked him up, and he was talking about how the last movie he saw, he was watching it for someone's window.
Yeah, I know. I love that. I don't know why. Like that was one of the most memorable parts. Just like the idea, thinking of that actually happening, like him being homeless, and then like I'm like, he's like, oh, I saw the Expendables 3. I'm like, how did because he's homeless. I'm like, how did that happen? You just watch it through somebody's window, and he's like, yes, that's how it happened. Like just the idea of him like looking through someone's windowsill watching them.
I always, I remember um, watching because all the old not all the videos, but like a lot of the watching all the videos back then. Like obviously, it's like they were as they were coming out. I just remember like I'm like these are just a bunch of people goofing off and having a good time, and I'm like I don't have friends like this, and then I'm like man, I don't want friends like this. They could get me kicked out of stores. Has that I don't know if you guys I don't well I know when you all did the reboot episode, you Mason and John didn't like Mason like put the camera up like very high up and Best Buy kicked you guys out.
uh That was in the Uncle John video. Oh yeah. Sorry, that's what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they didn't kick us out. They just told us to stop filming.
Okay, yeah.
Which we haven't gotten kicked out. Really, I don't think we've like. I don't think we've gotten kicked out like very many times. Like really, like I don't think any times actually we've legitimately gotten kicked out, but we've gotten told we can't film anymore because the security risk.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, 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 there you go. Like, you can't film, yeah.
Was in the Dalton video where we got kicked out of the mall for asking if Paul Blart worked there, and like just that that's one of my favorite videos.
And that got kicked out? Was that question, or was because you guys were filming?
Well, I mean, for both of like he said, I mean, like you remember that video or no?
I don't think I've watched that video.
Dude, that's a Dalton video. Like, you've seen okay, so
I might have watched it, but I don't remember it.
okay. Like it was we got kicked out of the mall. Okay, because like Dalton went up to a mall cop and he's like, does Paul Blart work here? Does he still work here or no? And the cop started laughing and he's like, he's off today. And then he turned around, saw me filming, and he's like, the camera, you can't take pictures of our officers, right? And then like he said, and then he says like, and then the cop was like, or then Dalton was like, "Oh, we're being asked to leave because I asked if Paul Blart worked here." And then he's like, "Oh, it's a considered security risk because if you come in with a camera and recording equipment asking about employees, we consider that a security risk." And the whole time, Dalton was so angry, like screaming, and it was just, I don't know. I thought it was like. I almost said Dalton that it's his funniest, but I don't know about that. But like it was just Dalton was just so funny because he was legitimately really pissed, but it was just for the funniest, dumbest reason ever. It was like Paul Blart isn't even a real fucking person, and he's like, "What do you mean? He's you know." He's like, your employees? That's motherfucking Kevin James, bud.
Yeah.
Like,
It kind of reminds me of that moment. I don't know if you've ever watched, well, obviously you like the flip pick and all that, but I like John's, per other channel where he just does, like, there was a
John
video,
fucking Jerry,
yeah,
yeah.
there was one where, him and Crazy Jason, went into the mall and Crazy Jason had that tripod on his head. They were immediately kicked out of the mall.
Oh, I forgot about that. I remember they did vlogs together, but I didn't know that happened. What the
Yeah,
hell?
that was a 2017 video. They got them like little old.
The GoPros?
Well, it wasn't a GoPro. I don't know what he had. I think it might have just been his random cell phone connected. Like, you remember when them little mini spider tripods came out that looked really weird with the little spiny legs. You know, I'm talking about like the little old vlogging tripod you would see.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah, so he put that on his hat, and him and Crazy Jason walked into the mall, and it cut to them getting kicked out.
Oh man. Damn,
Yes,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one.
yeah,
I forgot that they got kicked out. That's funny.
yeah. I remember. I like watching his videos. He's funny. What?
Yeah, John, yeah.
John's great.
Or both. I mean, but both of
I
them are
never
good.
really watched Crazy Jason stuff.
Well,
Uh,
he doesn't make content anymore. He used to like a really long time ago, but
yeah,
he doesn't these. I always remember him, and I thought it was interesting when they started doing content together and stuff because they lived by each other at that point. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, Crazy Jason's cool. I mean, he just disappeared though, stopped doing content.
yeah.
Like
I like. I do like John's content.
me too.
Every time I see him pop up, I don't always get a chance to watch his live streams because he doesn't have a set schedule. It's always spontaneous, and sometimes it's not always at the greatest time for me. But I usually catch them after they air, and
Me too.
he's really funny. I like him. He's always been like a really. He's probably the most, besides you. I think he's been the most consistent YouTuber I've watched, other than the obvious like new movie trailer channels and all that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm like, yeah, John's always been super cool. And content. I've always liked watching his out of the theater reactions and how he'll be in his theater and he'll be like, "Now let me get out of here before I get kicked out."
Yep.
I wonder if he's ever been kicked out doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. Because like I remember, like when we saw Thunderbolts together, like how like we just went into a completely different auditorium, and then like we're like, okay, but it was kind of like, um, we were like kind of like being like you're making sure there's no workers around. Like, okay, let's go in this one and see if there's anyone in here, and then you're like, all right, cool, we can film in this one, and like that was cool. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
doing that.
I did see that video on the channel. I did like that. I was like, oh cool, and Alex Leyba John Flick Pick collaboration.
Yeah, and it's funny because I filmed a review for it, but then I never posted it, which was pretty stupid because like it would have been so easy to edit. It was just like a quick iPhone video, but I didn't post it, and it would have been 2 weeks before the movie came out. But I was so focused on getting my movie done that I just didn't really care. But now I'm looking back, like, why the fuck didn't I post that? It's like I don't know,
Now
but
I
but
know I know you had Eric Schiffler on your channel. He can't you interviewed him. He sat down in your room and you guys chatted. Was there ever a moment where you wanted to reach out to him for a cameo in this or no?
No, I didn't. I mean, obviously, I would have loved to, but no, that wasn't. I thought about it, but it's like I don't know what it would have been. It's like there's a lot of people that I would have wanted to be in this, but it's like for this story specifically, it's like what could it have been? It's like there's a few people that I wanted for sure, like specifically John, the flick pick, I really wanted for a couple different things he could have done, and but like he was too busy to do it, and and so like I really wanted him for a scene, but now it's just that one part with like where I ask him to live with him, and then his audio, like just a real quick audio clip like towards the end, and like so like him I really wanted and couldn't get. Like he's probably the biggest one like that I really wanted and couldn't get. If he was the movie definitely would have been 3 hours if I would have got him, because that scene would have probably been like six. It would have probably, with other things I would have added to it, because that scene would have been there, it probably would have added like 5.5, maybe 6 minutes to the movie. Probably, yeah, probably like 6 minutes or maybe a little bit more. And so at that point, basically, it would have been like an hour, 2 hours, 57 minutes from what it is now. And so then I would have just put a couple scenes back and stretched it out a little more to make it 3 hours. But now as it stands, it's 2 hours, 51 minutes, which like is still incredibly long. But like it's just funny because I'm just like, how the hell is it this long? When like all the scenes are so short and everything's stripped down to the bone. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But
It,
but yeah, like it basically, like there's a lot that I wanted to do with this movie, and then a lot that I couldn't do with this movie. But there's also a lot of things that obviously, I'm overall I'm satisfied with it, and like there's still a lot that I really like about it. Obviously, that I'm glad that it is in there. That I'm glad I got to do. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I like the whole you go from uh it's like, oh, Kevin, we're going to go to the premiere of the Forest Hills at in Jersey with Kevin Smith's movie theater, and then like 2 seconds later, I'm kicked out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's a crazy narrative script.
Well, hold on. Yeah, I put the 6 months later, right? Like
Yeah,
right
yeah,
when.
yeah. It was like right
Okay.
there, but
Okay. I forgot if I I forgot. Like you just made me think that maybe that title disappeared somehow. Like, oh shit, is that still there? Like,
Yeah,
but
no, it's
but
there.
it's funny. And then yeah, the idea is like, yeah, that's obvious. He said, oh, in 6 months there's this. Then it says 6 months later, and then it was like, yeah, like right before we were going. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty cool sequence. What was it like doing like cuz obviously the Forest Hills was a big what was that about 2 years of your life or was it just 1 year off and on?
um. About a year. Well, I mean, technically, like it's been going on until the film's release, like with different things. But like, I mean, like, I don't know. Just what do you mean exactly? Like,
Like
like,
cuz
like, like with the
with
documentary,
well,
or
no, not with the documentary cuz we talk cuz in the movie you're talking about going to the premiere cuz I remember in the original short film version of this you had gone to the Clerks 3, you had gone to a couple Clerks 3 screenings. That's how Kevin was introduced into your universe. And then this movie, you're now going because you're going to meet him again because of the Forest Hills. But, like, because that's how the short film version ended when you went to go work on the film. But from,
yeah,
like, in terms of real life, not this film itself, but in terms of real life, what
the
was
film is real life. What are you
well,
talking about?
yeah, yeah, okay,
I'm just kidding. I know what you mean. All
yeah.
right, continue.
Like in terms of like how long like were you like? Because I know you were on set with Edward Furlong, and then you were brought back out for some Shelley Duvall stuff. But like in terms of like time it was in between like being on set with Furlong to like
To Shelley. Okay.
yeah
Yeah, the timeline is actually exactly the way it is like in the movie. I mean, like the Shelley documentary, is gonna be completely like on its own, because obviously, like there's nothing in this that sets that up. There's nothing even in the Furlong documentary that sets it up. It's like completely gonna be its own thing, and not connected to my bullshit at all. But it was September 2022 that I was on the scene with the set with Edward Furlong. Then it was March 11th, 2023. 6 months later, it was the premiere, and then it was September. Actually, about a year later from the Furlong stuff in 2023, which is actually 2 years ago. Like a week ago or something from now was the Shelley Duvall stuff. Like when I we filmed at her house, and like that's a whole other thing I'll get into at some other point. But I have a lot of footage, and that's going to be my next project is the Shelley Duvall documentary. And then after that, I really want to get into like more narrative films, whether it's shorts or a feature, but I really want to do something different that's like not connected to. I mean, realistically, I'd love to do both, like features not connected to my universe, and then I would have loved to, obviously, if things would have been different and if everybody was all in, Eric, Paul, and all that, if it would have been different, then I would have loved to continue, doing more movies and things. And I still would love to do three, so that it could be a legitimate trilogy, but like I just don't have Dalton's participation, so it's just not going to happen. But
yeah
I want to start doing like, more legit narrative features, after the documentary after the Shelley documentary, after I'm done with that, which like I'm not entirely sure like what it's going to be. I mean, obviously I know like what all the footage I have is, and like I'm going to edit through that footage and then see what I have 100%, and then see like what I can do with it and what I can turn it into. But like the thing is that there's not much there's some narrative through line, of course, like because I filmed like a lot of footage, like 8 hours. I have like tons of footage of Shelley, so like I'm definitely gonna turn into something. But overall, I feel like there's not much of a narrative through line. And I thought, well, I still have her husband's number, so maybe I could see if he would film more, like film something with me when I go back to Texas to like visit Mason or whatever, or not Mason. Oh yeah, but never mind. But 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 like maybe I could film something more with him, then he could be the narrative through line, or I don't know. But I'm just gonna go through edit through all the footage and see what I have, and then but that's gonna be my next project.
Yeah.
And but well, oh yeah, so yeah, like that's the timeline of when all that happened.
Yeah, I'll get back to the. I have one more question. I know because you're gonna be making a documentary and everything, but I have to know, just because I'm curious. How was it like just being like able to like be with like being able to talk to Shelly and hang out with like talk to her like like talking with her and everything. Like what like how was that like would you go
No,
back and relive that?
oh yeah, I mean, like I'm gonna be talking a lot more about this like later on,
Yeah.
but
I imagine she was a
she is.
very lovely person. She seemed like it in interviews back in the
N-
day.
No, she is legitimately like one of, if not the sweetest person I've ever met. Like, I am not kidding. Like, she is super, super sweet, super caring. She cares about people. She's literally an angel. Like, she is just so, just such a great person, and she's so intelligent as well, like she is apparently in her old in her old age she like reads a lot of books and things. And it's funny because like in the I didn't know what a word meant. I haven't looked at the footage in a while, and but she said something like when I interviewed her, she said something like, I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, how old are you? And I'm like, 20, whatever, 25 or something. And she's like, you need a dictionary. She's like, you need a dictionary. But no, yeah, I mean, just, it's just that simple, she's just incredibly sweet. And it was just because I'm not, honestly, like, even to this day, like there's still tons of movies. I wouldn't shouldn't say tons, because there are there's a lot of movies I haven't seen from her still. And so like I feel like, obviously I feel kind of bad in a way because there's a lot of other people that are huge Shelley Duvall fans, that are, her body of work inside and out, that would have preferred, to have the experience that I did. I got like a rare, extremely rare experience, to like hang out with her and, be with her and, see her work, because she was such one of the biggest actresses of the 70s and 80s, and it's like I was trying to take in the experience as much as I could. I mean, obviously I was fucking filming everything, and it's like like with like with my friends to be like, oh no, you didn't take everything in because you were fucking filming it the whole time, but but like no, I really tried to soak up everything. And like I understood that it was something to really appreciate. And I
Yeah.
tried to appreciate it as much as I could. And but I mean, uh um but yeah, then also it was just profound in a lot of ways. Like I said, seeing her work. And you know with seeing her act, it's like she's still got it. Like you can tell, like she hasn't acted in 20 years. And but you could tell that she still like knows how to do it. And she did really good in her scenes. And then like there was like a couple deleted scenes that like like her face, like I could just tell that, like I just really got the sense that like even if I didn't know who she was, I would still, if I was watching this being filmed, I would still think like this is a expert actor. This is an actor, like somebody like Tilda Swinton or Jake Gyllenhaal or like someone who really like is amazing at their craft. It's like you can just tell, you can see it in the way she worked, see it in her face. She still got it. And then she said that she would have, and just like I asked her like what she would want to, she said she wanted to make more movies and continue, and it's like I just like kind of want to, I mean, like, when I really think like deeply about this, like I just get a little emotional because like she wanted to make more movies. She's like, oh, I'd love to do comedy, more. She wanted to do like so much more. She was telling me, and then obviously she passed away, but it was also especially profound because I filmed my first movie scene or shot, because like I was in the movie for like 3 frames, maybe 4, like a super quick shot of me of Chico strangling me, and that was such a bizarre moment for me because I had lived with this film for about a year, and I had edited that whole documentary about and just like watched through so much, and then like I thought the movie was done like for the longest time. Okay, that's it, and then I literally find myself, obviously briefly, but it's like I literally found myself like in the film's universe at the end of the whole thing, with Shelley. I found myself in the film's universe with Chico, that character killing me. Like in that film's universe, like him strangling me with both of us covered in blood, 100% blood all over my body, all over my face, him strangling me. And then it was just such a like it was cool, but like it was just such like a bizarre moment to like after all this and like after making the documentary and like it was cool, but it was like bizarre, like that character killing me like in the film's universe, you know what I mean? And so like it was just yeah. But then, right after we shot that, we they cleaned me off. And then right after we shot my first movie scene ever, we went inside and filmed, which you know, Shelley's final movie scene she will have ever filmed, which he didn't use any of in the final cut, but I shot her filming her final scene. And so like it was just so profound, like where Shelley's lived for so many years. Like we shot my first movie scene, then we go in to shoot her last. It's just like
Mm.
that on itself is just so profound to me. And then like there was just seeing where she lived and her her birds and everything, and she loved animals, and she just was again just the sweetest person. And I'm kind of repeating myself at this point, but I'm trying to think of more specifics, but I can't think of too many right now. But like once I go through the footage, I'll be able to
Yeah.
you know to recount more memories and stuff. But yeah, sorry, I was a little long.
No, you're fine. I had to ask because I was always like, because I know we talked a little bit about it before, but never really as in depth as it was just now. I just remember because I
Mm-hmm.
remember hearing about it, and I wonder if had 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 she had had she still probably be alive. I wonder if she would have used the Forest Hills maybe as like a launch pad to try and go back to doing something. I kind of wonder if she was gonna do that because
Well,
it's
I
a
don't. Well,
miracle to get her out of retirement to even do it. Because I know she didn't act for a really long time.
yeah, I don't know about a launch pad, but
Maybe something maybe
yeah, I
like
mean,
help kickstart maybe like a cameo kind of thing.
I know what you mean. Like, I felt like that definitely I guess I mean, she's obviously always loved acting, even like before. you know, like, but like I feel like this definitely like reinvigorated, or not really reinvigorated, but just like really reminded her like how much she loved acting, and I feel like it kind of like took her back to the days of, working on those older films that like maybe she thought like, like made her think, man, I do really love acting, and it's like
Yeah.
I just but like with the interview, I I feel like I could have done a lot better with that. I mean, I really tried to research and make the interview really good, but I did a long interview with her before we filmed, and that um I got some good stuff of Shelley for sure, but I really like uh I could have done a lot better, like one with the questions themselves. And like I did research and I really did try, specifically with The Shining, to try to like delve deep, and maybe she'll say something about The Shining that maybe a lot and like nobody knew, like one of the mysteries people were wondering about. It's like I really tried to do that, but I couldn't think of anything because like I love The Shining, but I'm not like the most super fan of it to where I know everything about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like it's like I'm above a casual fan, but it's not like you know what I mean. But I feel like I failed, not 100% because again I did get some good stuff with that first interview, but I feel like I could have done so much better with the questions, but then also with time management. With it, I did a terrible job with like steering because like I'm not going to get too far into this because it might even it's probably even disrespectful to say at all in any way, shape, or form. But she had she had a form of dementia where she would kind of go in and out of. It's kind of hard to explain if you're not there experiencing it, but there would be times where she would start talking about like something that's just so random and off the wall, and I'm like, okay, I said interesting so many times I had no idea what to say to like respond. I'm like, really interesting, and then that was kind of hard to navigate, but like it wasn't it was basically because I had poor time management and like I never mind. Well, I'll talk more about this when
Yeah.
when I get to releasing it.
Yeah. I imagine it's just
You can cut a lot of this shit out,
I'm
honestly. I
gonna
mean, like I'm
probably.
saying, like because like I ramble a lot and
You're
like,
fine. I
you
do
know,
too. So I know like when you were talking about like the Shine, like I'm not a diehard fan. I really wanted to respond with, yeah, you're not like it's not like Saul to you.
oh no. I mean, obviously it's way better than Saw, but
Oh,
like
I love
I've
Saul.
oh yeah,
The
it's way
first one.
better. It's way better than Saw, but
Saul's more like your cup of tea, like diehard fan of.
it's really not. Okay, so like it's funny because I don't like too many torture movies. Like the first two Hostels are okay,
I
I
haven't even
think, but
seen them. I only saw the first one.
for the most part, I don't really like. I don't even like torture, but Saw is it, just because like of the storyline and the lore and the characters, and like the music and just like all of those other elements came together. Just like what Eric said in his Jigsaw review, like all these elements came together to make something cool and new and fresh and unique and epic, and um it's like those are the only torture movies I like really love, but yeah.
Yeah, I like the first. When it comes to the Saw films, I like the first two. Three,
Hey, three's good.
three is good, but I really like the first two the most. I
Yeah.
I enjoyed four kinda. Five is pretty cool. I liked 6 because that was attack on the healthcare system, which
Yeah.
I did like that one.
6 is one of the
I
best.
didn't like 7. Um,
Yeah, it's terrible, but
Jigsaw I had fun with because I actually did like seeing Tobin Bell back, even though it was for a brief moment. Um,
yeah, I like Jigsaw. I'm not a part of the hate. Most Saw fans hate Jigsaw. Really, all Saw fans hate Jigsaw. Which like I get it, but at the same time, it's like it's interesting and nice to have like something that's like that different aesthetically like
yeah.
from the rest of the movie. But it's like I get what like Eric Striffler was like there was nothing fresh about Jigsaw. It literally just looked like any other movie. It's like I get why people hate it, but I like it.
I'm in the minority. I really love Spiral.
Okay, so as a movie, I like it and it's fine, but
It's not as a Saw film. It's not
as a
that great.
Saw film, I hate it, or not really, because
I
it's
like
not.
it's different chapter kind of thing.
Yeah, they literally just made it because Chris Rock wanted to make a Saw movie.
I mean that I'm not gonna lie, that actually didn't sound bad on paper, and I like that they got some. It was really cool that they got Samuel L. Jackson in it because
Yeah.
you don't really see him do a lot of horror films, so it's kind of cool. And I love Saw X.
Oh yeah, Saw X is incredible.
Ironically, it's also one of the highest rated in all the franchise.
And I think it is actually higher than the first one. Like everyone likes Saw X. Like it's like even people that didn't like who hate the series like oh all them suck shit the first one. It's like people that legitimately watched it. They're I remember like the critical drinker, like he's on the same because most people with the Saw movies say that, or really everyone says the first one's going. The first one was good, but then some people say that two was fine, but then after that everything sucks. All the sequels are terrible. Da, 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 da. You know, which but then like all those people, or a lot of those people were like, you know what, X is actually pretty good. I remember the critical drinker was like, it honestly wasn't bad. Which like, yeah, just I love Saw X.
It was definitely cool to see. I think the traps in some of the saws are a little too far fetched to be like legit traps.
Oh yeah.
But I
Oh
love
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the reverse bear trap. That's my favorite out of all the traps.
Yeah,
That's a
that's it.
if you would you make a Saw film if you were asked to, or would you have to push that off to someone else?
Um I think I would say yes, 1,000,000%, but like I would be like also terrified because it would be a hard thing. Obviously, any movie would be a hard thing to pull off, but I mean,
Yeah.
like it's like I think I would do a good job, but then I feel like if it actually came around to it, like all right, let's actually do it. I feel like I would be like I don't, like I feel like I'd be stumped with a lot of things,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I
I'm
think Darren Lynn Bousman would be a really good creative consultant to help you out with that.
no, I will, yeah, but I mean, like, I'd take Kevin Groiter over him. Like, Kevin's one of like the top
Yeah.
people in general that I would love to interview, and it's so funny because Wet Movie couldn't give a fuck less about the fucking Saw movies, and then he saw Kevin Groiter uh Darren Bousman, Josh Stolberg, like all the Saw people, even Marcus Dunstan and Patrick Melton, like all the behind the scenes people that don't do conventions that are extremely rare to get signatures from. He saw all of them there, got their signatures, and like did quick interviews with them, like living my dream. And he couldn't
Oh,
give a fuck less about the Saw movies. I'm like, why the fuck didn't you tell me about that? He's like, I didn't know about that. I just knew about Marcus and Patrick. I'm like,
are
damn
those
it.
the two behind the Collector series too?
Yes.
Yeah.
But like I was like, dude, I would have flown out for that shit.
Right.
But yeah, Kevin, I would love to interview at some point because he edited all the movies and he directed 6, 7, and X. and
Yeah.
it's just like Saw is Saw because of him, in my opinion, and he's just a master editor, and like he yeah, it's why Saw X was so good because he directed and edited it, to where like he knows
Yeah.
what to shoot because he's the editor too.
I,
He knows what to give himself in the editing room, and like he said, he shot the most amount of footage, with that. But at the same time, I understand why they couldn't have put in some of the deleted scenes because of pacing, but there was still like quite a bit of things in the deleted scenes I really wish that they would have put in
yeah.
the actual movie.
I will say, despite the Saw movies not all of them being like good, but at least some of them are just fun to watch. I will say the editing is always the best part about it because they're all edited really well. Some of them are not shot as well, but the editing's always good.
Oh yeah, I couldn't.
And I
I
know you've
yeah.
tried doing that with your
So
film.
hold on. I mean, I was gonna say, yeah,
Oh,
like let's save that one for the spoiler or for the spoiler um
part.
discussion. But like, is there any other like things you want to ask like non spoiler
Um,
or
I'm pretty
you
much
know what I
about to
mean?
get ready to go into the spoilers unless something comes to mind.
Okay.
So, guys, this is your warning. If you have not watched the Alex Leyba movie 2, then why are you still listening to this? No, I'm just kidding. We're about to get dive into spoilers. You got time to come back. Save this for later or whatever. So, we're gonna give you five, four, three, two, one. All right, spoiler time.
Here we go.
All right, so I want to tell you something really hilarious about something that is spoilery. The part where you and Matt say your goodbyes. When you were trying to get a hug from him, I thought he was gonna hit you with the hockey stick and walk away. Like
That
after he thought you were using him just to get closer to Stuckman.
yeah, like again, I really like that conclusion, and like I was trying to think of like because like I had reasoning for why I was keeping the Stuckman montage in there, but then like earlier when I was trying to explain it, I couldn't remember exactly what it was, and then I just stopped myself. Oh, never mind. But but yeah, like that's hilarious. Like I never thought of that. That would have been. But like that's not like him though, so it wouldn't have made sense.
Yeah,
It would have made sense for
like
Mason as
or
you actually know. Yeah, he
yeah,
fucking
beat the
and
crap out of
also
you.
that's a really funny thought, though. I wish we would have done like another take to where he just did that. Where I
That
just
would be like a very Randall thing to do from Clerks.
I know, and like it is funny about how he's just holding the hockey stick the whole time, like in
Yeah.
this scene.
And you see this montage, and the next thing you know, you're going for a hug, and he just walks away.
Yeah,
Like no hug. Nah, he seems like a pretty chill guy.
I love Matthew, like I said earlier.
Yeah, and then Josh, man, I have to talk about the whole you showing up, and then he's like, "Yeah, man, we're gonna smoke together." How was that awkward for you, or was it, or how
Like, okay, so that was all 100% real. I was on the fence about smoking with him at first,
I could
and
tell because of the in the film, you were like,
yep, I was yeah, just very on the fence about doing it, but then we just did it, and then it was hard to like I hate smoking, but like after that point I did actually start doing edibles, but like it's very I don't do it very often, only like once in a blue moon.
really?
Like I don't know because like they're so strong they affect me for like 2 days and it's like I don't want to waste 2 days just staring at the fucking wall, just not doing anything. It's like it's just 2 days wasted out the window not doing
I
nothing.
freaking love it when he just drugs you. He's
I
like,
know
"Oh,
that was 1,000% real.
oh,
I
that
mean,
was I thought."
You thought that was faked when he drugged me?
He was like, "Oh, it's like. By the way, it's only supposed to be half of a gummy, and you took two."
Yeah. So hold on. Did you think that that was faked or
I
no?
literally thought that was scripted as shit because that didn't look like the strong. Because I know people that do edibles, and that bottle does not look like the strong ones that I know people that get that. So I'm like, that has to be staged. Because I thought it was staged because as someone who knows people who buy that stuff, I know it looks. I know it's supposed to be this, but again, obviously they market, and I keep forgetting that there's also different places in the world. So for all I, so but I thought it was staged. But you said it was real, so holy shit.
It is 1,000. I swear to God, 1,000%. And then like that's. I thought like maybe you could tell that it's real like from like my reaction and like from his voice and and like because like that was all actually set up by him. Like he obviously like really tricked me and then like just that's why I kept all that's another long take that I kept, because like
Get all the different
just
colors.
my reaction no like one take, when I
Oh,
realized I was like, are you serious? And like I was like, and then yeah, like with the that is actually when I was super high, and then like it was ridiculous. I was on the toilet for like 45 minutes just staring at the wall, and then like I came, but like Josh was like on my phone. You know what's funny? This actually ties into the narrative. But it didn't have. Or wait, or maybe it. Hang on. Maybe it did actually. No, okay. So he was on my phone while I was in the bathroom for 45 minutes, and then I laid down. I'm like, "Can I have my?" So basically, he was on my phone for an hour and a half, like actually, like in real life. And then so like, God damn it, you fucking dick. I just remembered that too, because but it's very hazy because I was so high. No, but yeah, it's like that was all real. I was so fucked up, and I was so I was fucked up for 3 days straight. That really messed me up.
oh.
And then like I went in his bathroom and then I pissed all over the floor. And I thought I was making it in the toilet, but I didn't. Apparently, none of it went in there, and it was all over the floor. Then his mom got mad and made me go clean it up, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was so embarrassed.
Did
And
she know
then,
what was going on?
nah, I don't think she knew. I mean, like, she probably picked up on the fact that I was high, but like, she didn't know that it was to that extent. And then I went, like, I'm like, oh, I thought I made it in, but apparently, like, none of it went in. And I mean, like, there's a longer story with it, but I might just tell you off there.
Yeah, that's crazy though.
That's funny.
Yeah, well, at least she didn't like be like, get out of my house.
Yeah. No, but I mean, obviously, rightfully so. I'd be like, what the fuck? Yeah.
uh,
But yeah.
that's funny. Yeah, I was watching that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then the scene, the the fight scene with you and Mason, you broke a freaking tripod.
Yeah, at first it was an accident, but but then he continued with it, and then it's also poetic because obviously it's like he's beating me with the thing that he hates the most about me,
Yeah,
like and it just I love the way that it's like half handheld and half like from the other angle to
yeah.
where it's like him beating me like from my handheld angle, and like that shit hurt too.
Oh, I know it does. I've been whacked with one.
Yeah, it also hurt when he like literally beat the fucking shit out of me. Like,
This
oh
fighting
man,
actually looked pretty staged, but if it was
it did.
well, the one part where he threw you into the wall near the door, I was like, oh my god, that had to have hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you saw the hole it made in the wall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's just so funny because like he did that, and then
Ha,
fucking.
What? How did John react to that?
He didn't see any of it.
What? The hole
He
in the wall?
Oh, to the whole yeah, like they were he was pissed and then he had to apparently, got it fixed, but he was pissed.
Yeah. I imagine he was. I mean, I like it when you guys are talking about that. He's like, "Can I have a pair of sunglasses?" No.
Oh yeah, I love that too. And like the thing is that like like everyone has some sort of arc or some sort of like meaning to their everyone has some sort of meaningful like I guess character arc or something like that, but John's entire like even if it's like kind of smaller like Matthew, but it's like John's entire arc is literally just that he's a fat fuck, like he has no like well I guess his arc like at the end like when he like like it kicks Mason out or whatever and then like it's because he kicks him out again, but then it's like goes ties back to the first one with that, and then it's like it all is just and then like all that was not um I decided while I was editing while editing the exposed sequence that okay, why not just have this be mixed in with that, like cut back and forth? And like the thing I really like about the movie is that it's non-linear. Okay, so like it's I kind of rip off Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously with the opening credits music, but not really. Like it's just a song. Like obviously it's from Deadpool and Wolverine, but yeah, it's also from other movies like Red Rocket, which we'll get to in a little bit and then it's just a song, because I would imagine people are going to be like, oh, you're ripping off Deadpool over it. Well, it's funny because I mean like that song I've never heard until Deadpool and Wolverine, so I guess you could say.
Really?
So I guess yeah, I'm not shitting you, I don't know how,
I
but
I, I want to. Yeah, I don't know how either. Like that's a popular song.
I know, but it's so fucking catchy. I don't know why I love that song. And then like I watched Red Rocket for the first time and when that song was that's like the song of that movie, and
Yeah.
then I kind of ended up tying in Red Rocket to this and but then also like it makes the lyrics match up with the story, it's like bye bye bye, like everyone's saying bye bye bye, get the fuck out of my life, and one of the lyrics is literally now I've really come to see that life would be much better with you gone, And then
Yeah.
it's like there's a moment where Blake closes the door in my face, and it's like that lyric is like heavily honed in on, or it's just you just hear that lyric in that montage, and it's like it's not just ripping, it's not like there's actually I feel like a little bit of meaning like to that song in the opening credits, and then also again we'll get to it in a little bit or we could get into it now if you want, but the Red Rocket thing later in the movie with the song appears again, but with the non-linear, like in the beginning it starts with Eric and then it goes back and then lines up with the events of that exactly like in Deadpool. But it's funny because like I didn't even think about it as ripping off Deadpool and Wolverine because for the longest time that was the beginning. Or okay, so like in the really early stages, like that Eric scene was like at the actual point it was in the timeline, like it was completely linear. But then at a certain point, I decided to make it first, and then after Deadpool and Wolverine came out, I was thinking, shit, that is. I'm pretty much ripping off the Deadpool editing style of like starting off with this and then lining up with the events later. But then it's linear throughout the rest of it until the third act. Then like it's all very non-linear, But I mean like it's with like jumping back and forth like in time and things and like I really like how I did that. And like what are your thoughts on the non-linear aspect of it in like specifically with the third act? Did it work for you or do you feel like it would have worked better if most of it or all of it was just completely linear?
No, it worked really good as a non-linear because it was See, I guess maybe if you're not, maybe if you're just a casual moviegoer who can't really follow a film, maybe it might be difficult for them. But if you know how to follow a movie, you can definitely tell what's going on. Like, I could easily follow it, and I really did like the non-linear storytelling. Because even though it is nice to go to point A to point B, sometimes you got to go back to point A to get to point B.
Yeah, exactly. And like it's like it shit, I was gonna say something, I forgot what it was. But shit, what was I gonna say? I appreciate that though, because
Yeah,
it's very I was trying to think, like, when I was doing it, it's like it's like there wasn't much of a reason for it to like say, but like I just felt like it worked so much better that way, like for the story, to like have it be non-linear at the like specifically in the third act, because it's linear through most of it, but I feel like like with what you just said, this is what I don't know how it just left my mind, but it's the kind of thing where I tried to make it like clear, like when things were taking place, and like like for instance, like the like when I'm crying in the car, I show a quick shot of that, and then it cross dissolves into the night when Bronson calls me. It's the same shot, but it cross dissolves into night, which, like, that there's that shot, and then like the scene happens when I'm looking at the pictures when I find out about Mason's kid, and then it's like that scene happens a month, and it's said a month later, because like maybe people, it's like you really got to pay attention to like the third, like the whole movie, but the third act specifically, because there's a lot of things,
yeah,
people may think like, oh, what do you mean he had the kid already? It's like, no, it's said a month later, earlier in the movie, you know what I mean? So it's like if you miss certain things, you won't pick up on
yeah,
when things are taking place or whatever, and so I tried to make it clear, and like people who are like you said, exactly what you said, you nailed it. People who aren't paying attention, people who are paying attention and who understand movies and stuff will get it, but like the average viewer, maybe if you're on your phone or something, you'll miss certain things, but
yeah.
yeah.
Those that are watching this that are still listening to this podcast and have watched the movie, if you couldn't follow it, go watch it again. Or if you don't, or if you didn't watch it, if you want to prepare yourself on how to follow a movie, watch Memento. But trigger warning: that is not the night. Is actually not the easiest recommendation I should have mentioned if you want to watch a movie where you can barely. I think that's a really good training movie for people to learn how to follow a movie, because your editing style for this reminded me of Memento. I don't know if that was an inspiration for you.
Actually, with this story specifically, no. Which is crazy. Okay, so Memento is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's in my top 20. I adore it, and obviously editing is my thing. It's something I'm very passionate about. Although, it this movie feels very choppy, and I understand that that feels amateur, especially with looking at the entire final product, which is what I got into at the very beginning of this. But like I look at it now, and like I could go back and change it if I want to, but like that would add a little bit more time to like make scenes breathe a little bit more and have more of a nuance. But at the same time, I like how fast it moves, but I don't know. Um but like editing is my thing, and so like that's I don't think I was influenced by it. But like maybe I was, but I just didn't realize it. But like, in what way specifically? Do you mean just with the non-linear
Yeah, with
element
the
to it?
non-linear
Because
elements and then going back to certain things as well, because that
I wasn't conscious of it, to be honest with you, and like I wasn't thinking about Memento in terms of that sort of thing, like, at all. But I guess maybe I just have seen that movie so many times, and maybe it just naturally happened. But yeah, I see what you're saying though about like when it flashes back to his wife and like Sammy
Yeah,
Jenkins and stuff like that. I that movie just means so much to me, and that'll always be my favorite Nolan film. And
it's ironically one of the only Nolan movies I like.
that's you pretentious douchebag.
Oh, I love
Not,
Inception.
I'm just kidding. I okay, but like to say that you don't like them,
Yeah,
really?
I think the Dark Knight trilogy is very overrated.
Okay, that's not it's I can't argue with you too much, but I mean obviously like okay.
I don't hate
I think
them.
they're great, but I can't argue with you too much, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think they're terrible movies. I just think people saying that these are the best Batman products, I don't believe that. I think there's better options. I do think Christian Bale is good. I can't deny Heath Ledger's Joker. Me
Yep.
personally, I prefer Jack Nicholson, but that's just me. Um, love love Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent. I think he was probably like my favorite part of the Dark Knight. I don't really care for Tom Hardy, never did. So Dark Knight Rises doesn't do anything for me. Love
Huh.
Inception now. Love Inception.
Oh yes.
Love Interstellar. I didn't like Oppenheimer or Tenet.
What?
Yeah, I think it's. Here's the thing about Nolan. All his movies are shot well. They are. They're beautifully shot. Pacing is always an issue. That's why I didn't like Tenet.
Yeah, like Tenet is I
It's
don't know, it's
shot
like
well. It's really shot well. I will say it is beautiful,
yeah.
and I can't wait to see his Odyssey because I've read that book. I know what it's gonna be like, so I'm
Hmm.
excited. I actually that might be my favorite. No, I don't think it'll beat Memento. Actually, that's my favorite Nolan film. I love
Mhm.
Batman Begins. I do love that, but
Hmm.
I'm not a big fan of The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises. I just don't think.
Okay. Okay, so The Dark Knight Rises, I 1000% cannot argue with you on. But I
The
mean,
Dark Knight, I know
you gotta love The Dark Knight. I'm sorry.
everybody says that.
It's peak cinema,
It is
I
beautiful.
think.
It is a beautifully shot film and it's edited really well.
But I mean, but hold on, like these elements, these elements that you're saying, these things you're saying about Nolan, I agree with a lot of his movies, like the pacing and like it seems like his movies just aren't for you, like which
I love Memento.
I know, but I'm saying that's separated from his other stuff because that's not what like that doesn't have any of the issues of his later movies or
Yeah.
most of them at least. If I really thought about it, I could probably no. I mean, Memento is like to me like just a 10 out of 10 everything, editing especially. You know, it's just a masterpiece. Like Memento to me is like by far my favorite. Like it's one again. They just I love it, but in my opinion, those other issues that you said about Nolan's films like aren't present in The Dark Knight, in my opinion at least. But you know,
Oh
I
no, the
obviously
pacing not in that film. I just think again,
I'm saying the other problems that a lot of people have with other Nolan films, I feel like aren't prevalent in The Dark Knight specifically. Like in my opinion, at least.
yeah, no, I'm not saying that The Dark Knight's a terrible film. I enjoy it. I can watch it. I just don't think it's the best Batman product out there. Um, love. I also don't think. I think okay. This is my opinion, and I've been told I'm wrong before, but you can't tell me that with it being Heath Ledger's last role, you can't tell me that that didn't build any hype off of that. I think that built some hype for the film, and I think that that's not. I think we should. I mean, the performance is great, but I think to view it as that, like people have told me, like, oh, well, it got a lot of attention because of that. It probably got more attention. I'm not going to deny that, but I don't. I think maybe speaking, had that not have happened, I think we would have kept him in. I think he would have been the villain in the third movie.
One, no, he was supposed to be.
Okay.
Which I mean, like Tom Hardy was good as Bane, but I remember I literally hated The Dark Knight Rises when I first saw it because I loved the Joker so much, and I was actually pissed because like there was no, I knew he wasn't gonna be in it obviously, but I knew that he I thought maybe they would tie something in or they didn't. He wasn't even mentioned once throughout that whole movie,
Nope.
and just in my opinion, yeah, just like
Yeah.
that's by far the weakest out of the trilogy, like no question.
Yeah. I
Like,
did like Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon.
oh yeah, he's
That's
great.
great casting right there. Michael Caine as Alfred. I'm not a bit. I like Michael Caine, but I really do like Jeremy Irons. I know it's two different universes, but I did like him as Alfred.
Yeah, that was an interesting casting decision for sure.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves Nolan's films. I think the last one that I watched in well, I did watch Oppenheimer in theaters. I didn't see Tenet in theaters. I unfortunately had to wait for a Blu-ray because that unfortunately was during the happy times known as the COVID, and my family didn't want me going out to the movie theaters, so I had to unfortunately wait for it to drop on Blu-ray. I rented it from Redbox, and I was just unimpressed. But
Hmm.
I didn't really care for Dunkirk either, but I think that's because I don't really like a lot of war movies.
Oh, I hate Dunkirk. Okay, I don't hate Dunkirk. I don't like it. It's obviously incredibly well made, but it's not for me.
Yeah,
It's like I don't say I hate a certain movie like that's like actually like it's like I've a lot of times I say like, oh, I don't really care for it. Like it didn't click with me, or it's just not for me, or not my kind of thing. Rather than like something would like with what Paul would say like, oh, I straight up hate it, and then
yeah,
like I say like, oh, well, you could you know not like a movie, but just not deny that it's still a great film because it's well made, but it's just not for you. But it's like he doesn't understand that concept. Like I would say like, oh, like you could not like 2001 A Space Odyssey very much, but love something like 30 minutes or less, but but like that one more. But obviously there's no denying that 2001 A Space Odyssey is a better film. Than he it's like he didn't understand that. He was like, well, not that he didn't understand, he was like, well, no, like if you think it's like what do you mean you like it more? No, it's like you think that that's better because you like it more. Like what do you mean? I'm like, well, no, obviously 2001's better. Never mind, we really got off topic with this one.
oh, that's okay. It's a great conversation, but yeah, no. I think there are two movies in my there are two movies in my collection that I watch once a year. Um, and it's Memento and Requiem for a Dream.
Nice.
Those two movies I love the most. Actually, I haven't watched Requiem since I bought it on 4K, so I'll probably dig that out sometime before the end of this year to check it out on 4K. I bought it because I wanted it because I had it on Blu-ray and I love that movie. I still have not rewatched it since the first time I saw it because that's a horror movie. If you want a horror movie that's not considered horror, it's horror. It's a horror. It's a horror movie. Have you watched Requiem? Right.
I actually never have,
It is a
but I
movie.
have a signed copy by Darren Aronofsky though.
Ooh, that's awesome. I will say, if you want a movie that shows the struggles of drug addiction, there you go. That's a movie.
Yep.
It is a his work is also not for everybody. I think he's one of the filmmakers that I appreciate because everything he does is vastly different.
Yes.
I love Black Swan. I know people that don't like Black Swan, but they love Mother. I love Mother as well.
I mean, I don't like Mother, but it's not.
Not for you.
Yeah, I can't. It's.
It's a
I don't
weird
know.
movie.
You could just take my ideology of what I just described
Yeah.
and just say like, and from what I said a minute ago, you could say like, oh well, then that means like you don't have any real opinions then, because it's like, oh, like if you don't hate something, and if you just love every, but kind of like with, I don't know, it's kind of, I don't know. You could say
It,
that I don't know.
it's like Black Christmas 2019. It's not a movie made for me, but I still relatively enjoyed it. It's not a movie
Yeah,
that it didn't target my demographic. It didn't target men. It targeted women, which is completely fine. I actually didn't hate it for that reason. It was a movie that they wanted to make and they made it. And I'm not going to sit there and say that they did the now there unless unless it's The Room. I will say that is the one movie that I cannot rewatch. I can't. I can watch
you
Disaster
know, hold
Artist.
on. You have to do it in like
I,
a theater with a bunch of people.
now that I probably would do. I know Greg Sinistro did that a few times.
Sestero. He
Sestero.
does it all the time. Like that's worth it. I would highly recommend doing that.
Yeah, I know he also did it with. He went to there was a theater in my area a few years ago. He did a disaster artist screening and Q&A, and I wanted to go to that so bad, but the tickets were sold out when I found out about it. I would have loved to go
Damn.
because I think that would have been cool to see because I do like that movie and I love the book. I read the book. I love it.
I actually didn't read the book, but I listened to the audiobook,
Yeah.
and that I agree. I love that, and I love the movie as well. And yeah, I agree. Like it's great.
Yeah, I think what do you think is the worst movie you've ever saw?
Um, I don't know.
I think mine would be X-Men 3.
X-Men 3 ever?
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Yeah, I've only watched it one time.
Well, I mean, you could say one of them, but like the absolute worst. I mean, I haven't. I don't think I've even seen the whole thing, but like I think there's way worse movies out there.
Oh yeah,
But
Dark Phoenix.
oh well, I haven't seen that, but
But yeah, back to this. I'm sorry, we're
it
going really
it's
crazy.
all right. It's all
But
right.
um, uh, let me see. I'm trying to think. I had my question, and then we talked about Memento and everything like that. Which great film, love it.
Oh yeah.
Red Rocket, great movie as well.
So did you know that that was from let's get into that. Like
That
did
Bye
you know that
Bye,
that was from Red Rocket?
the Bye Bye cover, yeah.
So I watched Red Rocket for the first time like recently, and I loved that movie. But then I was trying to get like just the movie like clip of that song like to use, because I thought, man, that'd be good to use for the movie, because it's you know it's the the same song as the opening, but in a completely different way, like with
Yeah.
like a different tone and different, because things are different now, because in the beginning I'm like happy go lucky, like like in my own, completely in my own little world, and then like it's like a goofy, like obviously the original song is super goofy, but then this song is like the same song, but just like in a really serious tone. And it's like I love that idea, because now things are different, things are more sad, and it's like I'm at my lowest point, and it's just, I don't know, I just really think it works really well. Obviously, like I feel like I could have done a better job with the scene itself visually. Well, I mean, I don't know, like there's definitely some shot. Like I love the shot of the lights and then me driving, like on the street, and then I mean, it's like I don't know what more I could have done with it, to like emphasize what I was trying to get across. But But yeah, anyway, like I didn't know that there was a legit studio version that she did of that song. Her singing "Bye Bye Bye," and like there's another layer of it of that in the movie she's singing that song to somebody who's like similar to me. Like that character is like a little similar to me. Like if you watch it, and not with everything obviously because he's basically a psychopath. But like immature, you know, with the immature way he acts and everything. Like it's like that character is similar to me, and so that's another layer with it. With that, like in that movie that she's singing to someone who's kind of like me, and I feel like with people who are fans of Red Rocket, when they watch this, like I'm sure maybe they haven't heard the actual studio version, and then so like maybe like that's something that they would appreciate about it, and so like yeah, I really like it. But then also, you said you've never seen Primer, but like I don't know, it's kind of pointless. Not well, I mean, it's kind of cool, but like I Mason really didn't want to do that part. Like that was obviously a part that was like set up, and then like he really didn't want to do it, and like he was so fucking pissed, and like he like it was only 30 minutes away from his house. And I'm like, let's do the primer. And he's like, he was like, I don't understand the point of the primer scene. He's like, why can't we just shoot it in the backyard? I'm like, because the whole point of it is that it's in the same spot as they filmed the movie and it released it. And he's like, nobody cares. He's
Oh, it
like,
was that movie?
yeah. And then he's like, nobody cares. Like no one will care or whatever. And then like he just really he like refused to do it, and to be dead honest with you, like I'll just say it, like this is what I'm fine with saying. Like I shot him. I feel like it might be kind of obvious, but like I shot him in a different location, and like so like that scene was like I mean he was still genuine in what he was saying because like we were actually talking to each other. Like
Okay.
we were actually okay. So it's like the scene was real, but my part of it I shot somewhere else. But then I actually was legit talking to him when I shot his side of it. So it's like it was fake, but also completely real at the same time. So it's kind of like both, But it's like I shot. He wasn't there, like at the bench, And
Mm.
so like I pretended like we were talking to each other, but it was um yeah he really didn't want to do it. And then like when he was in my room, he saw the Blu-ray and then he held it up. He's like, "Oh, the primer scene." I'm like, "Fuck you."
Who? What movie is Primer exactly? Like, what kind of?
It's a okay. So is I would highly recommend it. It is probably the most confusing movie I've ever seen. It's a time travel movie that was made on a shoestring budget of $7,000, and it is one
Oh.
of the prime examples of a no budget feature, or not an extremely low budget feature, of like a Clerks or like one of those kinds of movies, to shoot like on a super low budget and that was a huge success story, and Shane Carruth directed that movie. He did everything. He edited the thing. He had an extremely small crew. And like but he wrote like a really complicated time travel story to where he and him and his friend are engineers, and they accidentally create time travel, but the way it works is so specific, and like at first it might be kind of easy to follow, but then like it gets so complicated. And then it's funny because I've seen it so many times, and I've even seen explanations about what happens in the movie like so many times, and I still don't completely understand how everything fits together because it's so big and complex. And I saw like a picture of like movie timelines that are time travel, and like it's like most of them are just like straight lines with like a couple things swooping back and forth, like there's Back to the Future, like a lot of them are very simple. Like, and then there's Bill and Ted, and then just it's like you see the timeline, but then like loops in the timeline where they go back and forth. But then primers, there was like 100, not I don't know about 100, but there was like endless amounts of different circles. Like it literally looked like a preschooler just drew like a bunch of circles around like with a crayon or something. It's just so funny because it's that complex, but it's interesting. I would recommend it. It's definitely not for everybody though, but like a lot of film people know about it. And then in the flashback scene at the end, make a it doesn't really matter that like that I'm sitting there like in the actually okay, so like it doesn't matter that like in the furlong scene, which I'll get to, like that I'm in the primer spot. But it makes sense in terms of like where my mind is in the narrative. You know what I mean? Because like it's when we just talked about that, and like I guess it's supposed to be like before Mason shows up or whatever, and it's like yeah, and so like it makes complete sense for like that point in the timeline that like with the things I'm saying to him and stuff like that, which um yeah, and so like I'm gonna say like people that are fans of Red Rocket and Primer will definitely find something you appreciate. But
Yeah, Red Rocket is one of my favorite films in the last few years. I've really liked that a lot.
I couldn't agree more. I really because like when you get down to it, it's really like I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. It's really not that eventful or like not that much to it like when you really break it down, but it's just I don't know, like I just really like it. I mean, like if you really truly break the whole thing down, it's like there's stuff, there's things in there to you know what I mean,
Yeah,
but like
I
it's a pretty simple movie.
my if we're talking like Sean Baker though, I really love the Florida Project.
Me too. I adore that one. Like that's probably it's that one. I don't know. I feel like he's definitely getting better as a filmmaker for sure.
Love
Because
Honora.
oh yeah, like those are my three favorites: Sonora, Red Rocket, and the Florida Project for sure. I think I like Red Rocket and Florida Project about the same, and then Honora, and then his others. I don't like Tangerine as much as most people do, but I appreciate a lot about it, and I like it, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't,
yeah. I think what I really liked about Honora, one, when I first heard about it, I didn't know what the heck it was being like because I remember seeing it on Mikey Madison's IMDb, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, and I didn't think of nothing of it after that. And then I saw a trailer, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool, and I did. I actually really liked it.
and you realized it was a Sean Baker movie.
Yeah, it took me a little while to realize after the trailer said it, a film by Sean Baker. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
he's definitely. I also like how he edits his movies too.
me too. He is a great editor, but I'm gonna be honest. It is a really well edited film, but there's not much like special to it. It just in my opinion, the editing and the substance was leaps and bounds better than the editing in Honora, but the editing in Honora was good. It just, in my opinion, didn't do much that was super unique. Like it was just like really, really well edited. Like
Yeah,
but just it didn't do anything like super unique like the Substance did, and so because of that, I think the Substance was way better edited, and in my opinion, deserved the Oscar for that as well as Best Actress. Um, but
I know that got snubbed a
Mikey
lot.
Madison was still really good, but like, and again, Honora is really good, but in my opinion, I don't think it deserved all of the Oscars it got. But although, again, I love Sean Baker and I'm very happy for him, and yeah.
Man, it won everything but one award it was nominated for.
I know. I can't fucking believe it. It's probably because they spent $18 million. Like they bought all those fucking Oscars. They spent $18 million on the Oscar campaign. That's so fucking funny. But
Yeah,
like it, it.
it was nice to see the Substance even nominated for Best Picture, just because it doesn't happen to horror a lot.
Yeah, I know. Like I love the Substance. Mason despised the Substance. He thought it was
Does
terrible.
he just not understand it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like he just
I love it.
he didn't I don't know. It's like I would tell him, "Oh, you didn't get it." He's like, "No, I get it." It's like he thought it was too long, and then he just thought that it was
I don't think he.
just he just thought it was stupid, I guess. And then and then he's like, "How did this get that many Oscar nominations?" I'm like, he's like, Which ones did it get?" I'm like, "Well, it won Best Makeup." He's like, "Yeah, I get that one." And then like he just won't elaborate on why he hates it after that. And then like I mentioned it to his dad, and he's like, "Don't watch it, it's ass." And I'm like, "Hey, it's not ass, it's just not your cup of tea." And then it goes to what I said earlier, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. No,
Anyway,
I get that because a lot of people. It's like my friend told me I don't like Paul Thomas Anderson films. I'm like, you can't tell me there's one movie that you. And now I like that new one that came out, that One Battle After Another. And I was
did
like,
you see it?
I did. I liked it.
Yeah, I really liked it too.
I really love Licorice Pizza. That's my favorite of his.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Oh, I love it.
How? I'm sorry. How is that your favorite?
Well, I also love Punch Drunk Love.
Yes.
But I really loved. I think because when that came out, I was actually in the middle of going through a massive breakup,
Okay,
and
that's
I needed
definitely a
something.
contributing factor.
And it's such a. I actually really do love the film. I really do. I think it's still one of my
It's
favorites.
I mean, it's. I'm not. That was kind of rude what I just said, but
No,
like,
you're
I'm not.
fine.
I'm not saying it's. I think it's bad. It just, in my opinion, his other stuff's better.
Yeah, he's
But
got. I mean, a lot of good. I do like it. I also really love. I don't know. I like those coming of age stories anyway. They're always. Some of them are always good. Some of them are bad.
yeah,
But I think my favorite coming of age movie is always going to be Boyhood. I really love that film.
me too.
Or Stand By Me. Those are two of my favorites.
I couldn't agree more. Those are literally two of my favorites as well.
The Leyba
But
movie could be considered a coming of age film if you think about it.
well, yeah, coming of age for a 27-year-old fucking man child. But then you could look at Mason as. But anyway, let's this okay. It is a great conversation, but like it's like I don't think anyone's gonna listen to fucking 5 hours.
Well, this hasn't been 5 hours, almost been 3 hours.
Oh, it has. I really thought it's been. Well, I
Well,
mean,
we've been chatting. We were
5 hours.
chatting before.
Okay, but
Yeah.
what did you? Okay, how did you feel about like I guess like with what I critiqued myself with at the beginning with what I said at the beginning of this. How did you feel about one the pacing? Like be as honest as you can. Like there's something you didn't like please let it's like I'm welcoming any kind of constructive criticism. Like or I'm actually like before I ask this, like just in general with anything. Like is there anything you didn't like about the movie or anything you thought was lacking or anything like that?
The only thing that I personally didn't like was that it felt like so, and again I figured it was due to like time, well not really time but like maybe it, and that well after you were telling me about how you cut stuff down, it felt choppy at parts and I thought maybe that was intentional or maybe like it was shot like that or I
Well, yes and no. Like I said, it was like that's the biggest thing that I uh, was looking at, and who knows, maybe I'll go back and change it. But like did you feel like the whole movie was like that, or did you just
just
feel
parts
disoriented in just certain parts?
in certain parts like the conversation at the rink with Matt and you chopping up a little bit there and all that.
Yeah,
Like when it kept cutting back to like it would be the shot of both of you, then be his face, then your face, then the shot of both of you again, and it just felt kind of like chopped up like that, which is fine, and the dialogue still matched, but it felt like there was more to each shot.
yep, 1,000,000%. Like it was
That was the
condensed.
biggest noticeable for me.
Yeah, like that. It's like the question is, do I go back and make it longer? But it's
Mm,
like it's like it had to be like that for the running length,
yeah.
because and um yeah, like it again, like it was longer, and like it yeah, like longer, and had more breathing room to like maintain nuance, and like it didn't feel like also that it like moved too fast. And did you feel like you couldn't really connect to the characters for the most part, like because of that, because it moved so fast? And like did it feel like a sequence of like a series of events to you rather than an actual story?
No,
Or like yeah.
I got the story pretty good. It didn't feel like a sequence of events. I mean, I can see where you might think that because it just kind of jumps, but no, I did get the story out of it. It's not like you got to go back and like rechange everything. It actually does flow really nice.
But you did you feel like you could like completely connect with the characters, like
Yes,
considering how fast it was going through a lot of it?
yes, for sure.
Okay, that's good.
Because
And was there anything else that you didn't like about it that you could think of? Even just small things like that you
uh,
like took you out of it or anything?
mm, hang on, let's see. Uh, not that I can think of. No, at all.
Huh.
You
Well,
know,
thanks.
yeah, it all flowed really good. It definitely was. Like I told you earlier, I was like, whoa, this was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be.
Well, that's cool. So like I appreciate that. And so like the third act, I mean we touched on the fact that, it's non-linear, and like again, I wasn't um I didn't know that the Mason stuff was going to be intercut with it before, but then I thought, no, like it's, I don't know, like I really like that, like how everything's edited together, like in that, because like technically the exposed scene is like almost a half hour long, from like when it
Yeah.
starts to then like when I leave, but so much is in there that I wouldn't consider that a scene. Like it's like a a sequence, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and it's like there's a lot of little tiny scenes in within this big sequence, that's framed around the exposed scene where it's cutting back and forth. And like with that one, I really, that took the longest out of any scene in the movie to edit, like by far the longest. I mean, for so many different reasons. For one, so much footage that was shot for it, for everything, the stuff in Texas, with the fight with Mason, and then also like just everything. Obviously, I shot a ridiculous amount of footage for the entire movie, but with that sequence specifically, like there was a lot of choices, with what to do, and also like it was a balancing act, and then also with like shooting things, like for one, like as it was happening, and then two, like what shooting things in an aesthetically pleasing way, to like engage the viewer more, rather than, I mean, obviously a lot of it is the shot reverse shot with those two shots of me just freaking standing there, but also, like I really tried to cut back and forth, to the fire and to this and to that, and like
Yeah.
to make it not just the two shots of me, and then also with obviously having it cut back and forth between Mason and the end of his storyline, then flashbacks to other things. It's like I really just tried the best I can with that entire sequence, and I spent so much time, obviously, with the entire movie, but an absurd amount of time with like that whole sequence took like 4 months to edit, and
Oh,
like
I bet. Especially with the Saul. You nailed that Saul editing down.
so that. I am so happy that I did. And also, did you notice the substance? Like that music was from the substance.
Yes.
Okay, so because like it's just that's the only track in the substance that wasn't a score made for that film. It I love that track, when the blood's spewing everywhere. Da-na-na-na. It's just so epic, and like um and just that whole score I felt like worked with it. And then like and before I started editing it, I really thought, okay, I really want to use Saw, but the substance works better. But then, like, I figured out, obviously as I was editing it, that, or like before like right when I started editing it, like it became apparent, like, well, the scene's going to be so long, and like, also with cutting back and forth from Mason, like, I basically had to use both, because if it was only Saw the whole time, that would get pretty repetitive after 30 fucking minutes. Plus, I literally would have ran out of time with and so like it just I love how, and then plus like also, you know to have a cut back and forth between the two different kinds of the two different tracks, definitely made it not, I feel like, not as boring as it would have been if it would have been Saw the entire time, but I basically, with that whole sequence, I really tried to make it as entertaining as possible in terms of like showing different shots and like different music, showing different things, and I mean with the whole movie, but that scene specifically, to where it's just all me fucking standing there on my fucking phone, you know, and like and yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm really happy that I used, because obviously and people, a lot of people who follow my stuff know I'm a die-hard Saw fan. It's my favorite horror franchise. It's and I've been wanting to use the Saw Hello Zep theme with something the entire time I've been on YouTube, and especially with like one of my movies, or like something to do with like my narrative or lore or something. And then it's like I finally did it, and I'm so happy that I got to do it, and I really like the way that it turned out, and like it just I'm really glad that it all obviously, you know if again, if the videos, weren't taken down, it would have been 100% different, and like the movie would have been completely different than what it was in the third act. But um yeah, I'm really glad the Saw ended up the way it did, and I'm just so happy that, because like Hello Zep might be my favorite piece of music in all of cinema. I'm not kidding. Like it's not even, it's like, say what you will about like the Saw movies or the sequels to the Saw movies, but just the music, in my opinion, is legitimately incredible. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I love.
even by normal film standards, like it is seriously my favorite piece of music in all of cinema. I'm not kidding. and like I never get tired of listening to it. Da, na, na. And then the substance, that track really fit with it as well, I thought. And I needed something that was like devastating but also felt like like an orchestra, because everything was coming to a it was, and I felt like it was kind of horror centric as well, because it's like being with what was happening, it really matched with my emotions, I felt like, and I felt like that matched perfectly with what I was going for, like the epic scope of like what was of of like trying to present an epic scope of the scene, the sequence, and what was happening, but then also like matching with my emotions and the horror that I was feeling, and like and then like specifically like in the like when they're talking about the women, like you hear like the woman's voice like in the track in the song like the most prevalent in that section of it, which is interesting because the scene's about women and, like how I treat them like in the movie and stuff.
Mm.
Not in real life, but you're never mind. Okay, what was gonna
uh,
be your question?
oh, I like how you tied back to when you got the. I always remember when you got all them slip covers from that one guy on YouTube,
David, yeah.
and then you burnt your collection only to be revealed that it's still there. You burnt the slip covers with fake fake cases.
Yeah, which is something that realistically everyone knew. Like everyone said that like, oh, you didn't really burn your collection, but it's like it's the kind of thing where like, you know, everyone's like, oh, it wasn't all of it. It was clearly not your entire collection, but that's what everybody said, like literally everybody. But I'm like, no, it's like, yeah, there was dirt underneath the 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 movies to where there wasn't as many, but you're supposed to think that all that dirt like was
Trash.
just more movies, it's like that was the idea, rather than the whole
Yeah.
but but yeah, like that and I also love how there's another mirror like that one's obvious, like to where like it not ends completely, but it's like toward the end, the climax starts like with a fire, just like in the first one, and then and it's also like the motif of every obviously like symbolism of like it was symbolism in the first one, but then it's revealed that that was I was just fucking gaslighting and manipulating my audience to think that I actually changed because I'm a piece of shit. But then it's like in this one, the idea is I actually change, and then like it's like the symbolism in this one is obviously my entire world burning down. And one thing that I mentioned earlier that I forgot to get into more was the shot of the Synecdoche, New York. It's like I mean, obviously that was a straight up fucking rip off of Birdman. And then like I honestly like at the last minute I kind of rolled my eyes with it. Like this is like I still like this, but it's like kind of cringe. Like it's a literal 1000% just rip off of Birdman. Like it's just people aren't gonna. I feel like it's gonna really take people out, especially that shot of Synecdoche, New York. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like I feel like that would really take people out. But at the same time, like I needed something to have like a block, like right before, Sean or not Sean, uh, Scott Goldberg calls me, and like I like the idea of like me closing my eyes and then thinking about something and like it's like this is it, and then just all of a sudden he calls me and interrupts. But it's like I had no other reason for me to close my eyes, and like I needed some other thing to show right before that happened. And I thought, fuck it. It's quick and I like it, but at the same time, I feel like that it'll take people out. I don't know. But like the reason why I show the shot from Synecdoche, New York is because, like it's going with the theme or like the idea, in the wet movie scene. What'd you think of that? Like, pause for a second. What'd you think of the second wet movie scene where I'm talking to him on the phone?
It was funny.
It's like, it's like I'm like emotional. Like I just really like it because I'm like emotional, like on my.
Yeah.
But really, it's wet movie acting exactly like I always did, like when I was younger. And then it's like I'm finally starting to understand that I'm just an immature fucking man child. Then it's like I'm listening to someone who is exactly like me, but it's like he's and like the idea is that I the he's it's like funny but also like it's like two different conflicting tones or like two different tones at the same time, like really you're supposed to take the scene seriously because it's at like a really serious part in the movie, but it's like also like wet movie just being so stupid, and like it's just such goofy humor with him like spread open my asshole. And it's like I don't know, like I really like it. But the idea there is that I'm like I feel like I've wasted my 20s, and like I've built this entire thing, this series, this and all this, and then like it's like I kind of like at the end of this I kind of feel like Caden Catard at the end of Synecdoche, New York, like walking through the city that he's built. He's spent so much time building this, and then now it's like and like he like it's literally pretty much about me, like in certain ways about with. Have you seen Synecdoche, New York?
No.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so Philip Seymour Hoffman's character essentially creates a play that he works on throughout his entire life about like recreating moments from his life and things like that. And it's and he pours his entire life into it, and then at the very end he's an old man like getting ready to die, and he's walking around this giant utopia, life-size replica of New York City that he spent his whole life building for this play. And then it's like he still doesn't know how to do, still doesn't know how to do it. And he's like just walking around this thing he's built, and he's just looking around. I spent my whole life on this, and it's not I wasted my whole life building this, and it's like I felt like him at the end with like, creating this big thing, and then it all like being for nothing because like by the end of it it's all destroyed, like like by the very I feel like the other thing is like I feel like people who are actually fans of me that actually take like my video like take it seriously, like it's really kind of a middle finger. Like it's basically by the end of it saying fuck all of you, this is all done, like. And then by the end of it, like like people are gonna look at the channel and it's gonna be like blank, like or not blank, but like
Yeah.
like all those videos are actually gone. They're like, oh, what the fuck? It's kind of like a big middle. People could interpret it like a big middle finger, but at the same time, it's like, I'm talking like just people that are actual legitimate fans who like would actually take it seriously, which I really appreciate. But like, yeah, like that was the idea there, and but sorry, that was real. I need to get better at condensing things and like
No, you're good.
talking.
It's fine.
No, it's not fine.
Well,
I need
it's
help.
fine for me.
I need help.
Oh, well, don't we all in some way?
Speaking of needing help, um, I don't. I mean, so the third act specifically, like, okay, so did throughout the entire, really the whole thing, did you feel like you knew where it was going at certain parts, and then like, would you say that it like defy uh like what Ryan Johnson says, like whatever the word is, that defied your expectations or something, or
Yeah.
like just or like was it did the story play out like a lot differently than you would expect? Like I'm figuring the third act played very differently. Was because it just kind of comes out of nowhere with the exposed shit. But like,
Yeah, I didn't expect to go there.
no, I'm saying like, but before that though, like, did you I mean, like, did you feel like it was like predictable at all throughout any of it, or no?
No.
Hmm. And then because I kind of feel like I was thinking about it like when I was editing uh the third act, and it's funny because like at the end of editing, it actually I believe it's like about the minute in Endgame to where this moment happens. I feel like in Endgame, there's the moment where, Hulk snaps and brings everybody back, and then it's like, okay, it's like you feel like the movie's like drawing to a close, like, whatever, cool. They got the stones, they won, he snapped everybody back into existence. And there's the quiet moment of like, okay, cool. I mean, obviously, things are about to go wrong because he blasts his ship through the thing. But then, there's that quiet moment where he's like, I think it worked. Then all of a sudden, they see the missile like flying through the air, and
Yeah.
boom, it just like blows everything up. Like where you think the movie's gonna end or like
Yeah.
draw to a close. But then I feel like that's the moment with this, to where it's like after the fire, you're like, okay, cool, whatever. He lit all the things on fire, and then it's like you feel like the movie's going to draw to a close, like when I close my eyes. And then all of a sudden there's like the missile moment, like Josh fires off, then boom, and then like the whole rest of the movie, the last hour or whatever, is like a whole new conflict and a whole new thing that I have to tackle and deal with. And like that is just a unexpected thing that goes in a completely different direction. So like yeah.
Yeah. I actually the scene where you go to shoot Josh. I actually thought you were buying a gun to kill. I thought you were getting a gun to kill yourself.
Oh, so like I thought I really tried to make it apparent that like I'm angry and then I'm going to kill Josh, It's like
Yeah.
it's like so like but you thought that was like for me to like kill myself?
Yeah. At first, that's what I thought was going on.
Well, I mean like well no, because like I drive, I'm driving. It's like you would think that
Yeah.
I'd go to like a park or a lake or something, or the where I ended back to where I ended the first movie, and so, like, but no, it's like I drive and then I show a shot of Cleveland, and then Mentor when I drive under that, and you saw that shot earlier, toward the beginning, like in the first scenes with Josh, right before where I smoke weed for the first time with him. So it's like I don't know. I really tried to make it clear that that was the like I was going to kill Josh, but
Yeah.
yeah, well, what did you think of that? Like that whole thing where I literally had a gun, like I'm going to kill Josh.
I was like, oh my goodness, that took a dark turn.
I know, but it's like it goes into like actual like an actual movie like
Yeah.
narrative, like and like what'd you think of like that whole thing? Like where okay, so first of all, that music where I leave and I go to the gun store. Like I like that music was from The Gift. Have you seen The Gift with Jason Bateman?
Yes, but I have seen that. I didn't remember that though. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's kind of I feel like people who even like that movie maybe wouldn't get that. But no, that was when he leaves to go to the when he right after he watches the tape of him wearing the monkey mask, he's driving away and he's like, "What did you do?" It's that, and I love the way the music plays in that. And then but then um so did you feel like the placement of where the scenes are with Mason, like okay, because like I personally think it works, but like maybe you don't, like maybe I should have included. Did you think that where I show like the scene with Mason where he's explaining to me that he has a kid? You think that should have been like before the scene where like he, where I show the Saw montage and then he like drives away and like you think I should have showed that first or
No, I think where it's at is great because it's like, like I don't think I think if you put it before that, I don't think it would have as much meaning.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like it's and also did you notice I used the whale soundtrack like in that scene?
I did not because I have not seen that movie.
Oh, okay. It was from the very end of the whale, and so
Oh,
like, what did you think of that whole scene, like where Mason explains that he and did you understand that that was like supposed to be? Obviously, it's when he hits me, it's like at the very end of that, like that's like at the moment right when he beats the shit out of me, like in the Saw montage. But
yeah.
it's like, did you get that that was supposed to be right before he beats the shit out of me in the previous scene?
Yeah, a little bit before. Yeah, I did get that.
What did you think of that scene?
Well, that actually was like a bombshell. I was like, wait, what?
Did you know that Mason has a kid though? Like, do you follow him on Instagram or
No,
anything?
I don't.
Dude. Okay, so wh- what'd you think of it? Did you think that it didn't work because maybe it like came out of nowhere or
No,
like
I think it worked, but it was just like, whoa, like, that's a twist.
it just came out of nowhere? Like, did you like
Well, because what happened was he just graduated high school in the movie, and the next thing you know, he's got a kid. I'm like, wait, whoa, where's the time jump?
well, yeah, I mean, but the but you know what's I mean, it's pretty I mean, obviously that could have been faked, but that was actually 1000% real. Like I'm not kidding. And it was actually happening around that time as well. So like it was all that was all real. I'm not shitting you. He actually has a kid.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations to Mason for having a kid.
Yeah. I mean, cuz like somebody told like I was thinking before like it would be super disrespectful for me to ask him if I could have that in there, but then I had this idea and then he agreed to it as long as we were vague about the details. And I said okay, and then we just did it. And then yeah, like it okay, so be honest, okay? Like be dead 100% honest. If I was bad, please tell me because like I felt like there are parts to where I was okay, like it to where it was okay enough, but like through a lot of it I felt like I was bad. Did you feel like my like cuz I cry a lot in this motherfucker, okay? Like did you feel like my crying was like good to decent or did you think that it was like not very good, like kind of amateur acting
Oh
or
no, it
what?
was really good. I actually better crier than me. I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean, your crying was 100% real.
No,
Which
yeah,
like which like my crying was real, but at the same time I was trying to make it more like like there are points to where I was, not completely real. Like cuz I mean just cuz there were like five different ones, but like
yeah.
um there was I mean to where I was trying to make it look more authentic, and I don't know. But I was pretty emotional and like I was legitimately emotional, but I wasn't like crying that much if like for the it's like I was trying harder like for the scene, like if that makes sense. But like yeah, I mean and then like they always say, show don't tell. That's another thing is that I tried to show. Obviously, there's fuckloads of telling in this over showing, but I really tried to show and not tell way more in this. Specifically, the last moment with Mason, to where I look at the pictures and then I see that he wasn't happy in our relationship and he was happy, and then like him smiling in the other pictures and then I nod and it's just like, man, like when Mason sees that, he's gonna be like, I mean, because it's like that's what cinema's about. It's like I wish I would have thrown more of those types of moments in there to where it's showing and not telling, but it's like that is just the single idea of cinema is just showing and not telling. But like but of course Richard Linklater is like, no, fuck that, just tell it all. But yeah, and then I guess with the whole stuff after that, like with Josh, what'd you think of all that? Like where I actually show up to his house like with the gun and everything.
Oh my goodness, I was like, whoa, is he really gonna do this?
And like I was thinking of it like, okay, so like I'm talking like I actually think, like this is good. Like I don't think not it's not good, but I'm just saying like I was kind of thinking of it like Hitchcock's idea of suspense was, everybody knows there's a bomb under the table, but if a bomb goes off, there's no suspense. But if everyone knows there's a bomb under the table that's gonna go off, everyone's, you're like, oh my god, like and then it's like the gun in the fact that like Josh and I are talking, and just the fact that that I have a gun and the whole time, you know,
Yeah.
is like the bomb element of it of what Hitchcock was explaining. It's like I I really tried to pull off that kind of suspense with that and like and um I don't know, like was there anything lacking? Because like in my opinion, that whole sequence, it's like I got what I needed to make a decent enough um sequence out of the footage that I got from that. But in my opinion, like it could have been better. Um, I think like there could have been a lot more to it, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I keep saying like, oh, what'd you think about this? But it's like,
Yeah, everything is really good. The way it was shot, edited, everything really flow. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
well, I appreciate it. I'm just trying to like see if like there's anything I could have like
Yeah,
if you think like I could have done differently or like anything that was lacking or anything like that.
no, everything turned out really really well with it.
Well, I really appreciate that. And with so of course the heart attack stuff, like I really emphasized that, like when I found out I had high blood pressure, which is 100% real. I actually do have high blood pressure. And then I really did lose weight. Did you notice the
Yeah,
reason?
I did notice the time when I did notice that you lost weight in between different parts of this movie.
And so like with the idea is that in the Texas stuff I'm super skinny, and then but the idea is that I say I haven't eaten for a week like right before I go, and then like in the next scene I'm super skinny, and so like it's like that's the justification for me being super skinny. And then of course I got fatter, and then like and so with um it's like when I tried to throw a little bit of me like holding my chest, to sort of set up, that I'm gonna have the heart attack. But did you like? Was it obvious that I was about to fucking drop down and have a heart attack like throughout that whole sequence, or no? Because I was panting a lot and shit, or when the screen cut to white, was it like a complete surprise?
Oh, it was pretty much like okay, I could see where that I could see him having one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because like the idea is I didn't want to make it super apparent. I wanted to throw in the a little bit of me clenching my chest and shit, but like I didn't want to make it so apparent that it's just people knew exactly what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And like but after that though, like with the oh yeah, so you've seen Prisoners, right?
Yes.
That did you catch that music when we're driving to the hospital? If that was from Prisoners?
Actually, I did not.
Yeah, like from when at the end where he's driving to the hospital. The same thing, driving to a fucking hospital. Like that was from Prisoners, and then um the hospital stuff. Like, what'd you think of all that?
Well, I like how Josh took your computer.
And then yeah, like I mean, you mean like and like watch the movie and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Was
like
that Clerks 3?
yeah, yes, but at the same time makes sense for this movie. Like I don't know. In my opinion, it makes sense for this movie and like how it ends. Because the idea with having that be the way the movie ends, pretty much is obviously everybody in this movie just thinks I'm an annoying piece of shit. And, like nobody just like what I said, people don't may not understand me or what I'm trying to do now, but in time they will. And then like, at the end, it's like all I want is admiration from people, from somebody, not just, just from somebody that I'm doing something like with what I said at the beginning of the movie, that like I'm trying to be an auteur. I'm trying to be, like a filmmaker that is gonna break the fabric of cinema and do something that it's like I'm wanting that admiration, in general, and then it's like clearly, obviously, but it's like nobody gives that to me because everyone just despises what I'm doing with a dying bloody passion to an absurd degree, to the most absurd degree you could possibly get. Despise, and then Josh, obviously, throughout the whole thing super mean to me, despises it, despises it, despises it, super mean to me, fuck you, da 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 da. You're annoying, we're not characters, you're this. And I love that line, both lines from like, I loved all my friends with all my heart. He's like, you mean your characters? You loved your characters with all of your heart? And then it's like, you think like, oh fuck, he's got a gun. He better not fucking fuck with him.
Yeah.
But I wish I would have showed more of like the when I pull the clip out. It's just such a quick moment where like you have to pause it to see the bullets. Did you pause it or no?
No, cause even though he thought it was a fake gun, he showed it wasn't. He's like, oh shit.
Uh-huh. And like yeah, that and also that track from when and like also like the when I'm like when I show up to his house, like it's like there's been music, just a really loud music throughout really the whole movie, but like especially through that last sequence. I tried to obviously, and then obviously extremely loud of music with the obviously the whole sequence, but then with the whale music and the previous scene, but then once I got there, I like how it's zero music. It's just like atmospheric, like suspense, like oh shit, what's gonna happen? And then music starts again when I reveal that it's a real gun, and then like that's another long take. Like that was like a over 1 minute long take where we're just talking, and then like when I pull out the gun and shit, and then it cuts back to the other takes and gets cuts back and forth, and then like you know, I've wanted to use that track for a long time as well, like when I pull out the gun and stuff. And then it's been in several movies, Arrival and Disconnect, and it's been in tons of movies. But I've always loved that track. And then also like with the final sequence where he's like watching the movie, and then like he finally understands like what I was going for, and like it's all just like I really like how it concludes, and I think it fits with everything. She says like, this is, like what we've always wanted, like, since we were kids. We love movies so much, and and that was all Josh. Like I wasn't, and it's like most of what Josh says, Josh's dialogue is just all him. It's not from me. And then he watches the movie and then finally understands what I've been trying to do this whole time. And then you know he finally sees it. He sees what I was trying to do, but then now it's like it's all over, and he finally like understands. It feels bad like what he did, to me. And then but it's also a movie about like friendship and about um just simply about friendship, and about how Josh like finally takes it all in, like after seeing the whole movie and how I felt about everything, and and then seeing the clips of me like in the exposed sequence, because I wouldn't have had it edited at that point because it all happened on the same day. You looked at the clip, and then it's like he finally feels the empathy, even though he felt like zero empathy, like when but it's like I again I love the idea of like how he doesn't like it's like while the exposed video thing is happening, it's like clear that he's just like a literal like narcissist with absolutely zero empathy, and is just completely willing to destroy my whole life with any sort of empathy or remorse or anything like that. It's just like just boom, just but then like he explains himself when I actually get to his house. He said, at the same time, I will always want what's best for you, and like it shows that he does have, does still care about me to a certain degree, even though he legitimately like hates the person that I've become, from when we were kids, like just like what everyone else, how everyone else feels about me. But, he still feels, and then like by the end of it, when I'm in the place, he's like, it's all right, buddy, and then, do you think, okay, so, sorry, I know I'm kind of rambling, but with but the idea with the very end, where he watches it, then he says that was a fucking work of art. It's like he's giving me the admiration and like what I've been searching for the whole movie. He's giving that to me in like a super bold way, like that was a work of art. He's crying and he's saying that was a masterpiece, and like he's giving me the admiration I've been looking for throughout the whole movie. And then it's like I'm not even looking at him. I'm turned around. I'm not even looking at him at all, you know? And it's like I won't even look at him. It's like I don't care, And then I don't know, I think that's pretty profound, like for the movie. And then but what did you think of the sound choice or the music choice with the both renditions of "Hurt," like Johnny Cash and the Nine Inch Nails?
They were both really good. Nine Inch Nails, I'm not really a huge fan of, but it worked for that. They both, it really did work for that.
Thank you. And I've never heard of that kind of thing about how like a movie would use two different versions of the same song in the same scene even.
Yeah.
But I thought, the Johnny Cash one wouldn't have fit tonally in the first half of the scene, but I feel like you know they both totally fit like where they both were, but of course like I feel like to everyone the furlong thing was. Did you catch that it was the music from T2 like right when it started or no?
No.
And of course, I'm sure you're surprised to like hear the furlong, the little tiny furlong scene.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then like obviously I just had that heart attack, and so it's like it relates to that. And then it's like the idea is that like but again it's just so funny because I ended up like by the end of it it's like the idea is that like if you're a bad person like you'll get what like you'll get what you deserve. That's another one of the things about it. And like I've been a bad person for so and then like by the end of it, I'm just it's kind of like Eddington in a way. Like I mean, without spoiling the end of Eddington, it's kind of similar to that. Like at the end, like he's just it's supposed to be kind of like they could like the idea is that like I didn't really communicate it, but I'm supposed to be like Eddie's friend. He said he can't really do much now because it fucked his system up so much. It's like I get canceled, I lose all of my friends, I lose like it gets like the it's just like funny about how low I am like by the very end. And then it's like by the end I literally lose everything. Like I have a heart attack. That fucks my whole life up. My reputation's completely fucked. I lose all my videos, everything that I've built throughout the last 10 years. My reputation and I'm locked up for a long time. And so I mean, what'd you think of that the last part of like the insane asylum?
I figured it was an insane asylum. I'm like, oh god, he is getting that help. I like how Josh's like, you're gonna get all the help you need. No computers, no phones, no nothing.
Cuz like it's like Josh could have sent me to prison, but instead and then it's like and then again I love the idea of like he's like you spent the whole journey of this movie trying to find a home and you finally found one. And it's like just that's what the whole movie is, me trying to find a home, and then it's like by the very end I found one, and it's just like oh man, it's fucking crazy.
I did like the one more time.
Yeah, I was really trying to think of like what song to use for the end credits, and then it's like that one of course I had to cut it up a lot, and it's
Mm,
obviously very noticeably cut up, but
yeah, still
I really
works.
like but I really like the end credits, and
So do
and
I.
like I don't know. You have any more thoughts of like the I guess like the very end or like the you know
Not really, no.
I know we've been talking for so long. You sound so tired.
I'm a little tired, but yeah, but I mean, we pretty much went over everything for the most part, actually.
Yeah, I think literally everything. But like the after credits scene though with Bronson. Did you think that like you're like, "Oh shit, an after credits
Yeah, I didn't think there was gonna be one.
scene?" And then I don't yeah, I like it. What do you think?
Oh my goodness, I was glad to see that. Oh, I like Bronson a lot.
Oh, me too. I love him. He's a great guy. And yeah, I didn't think there was going to be one either until like I'm like, yeah, fuck it. And then that ending montage thing at the very end of the credits, like I don't know. I mean, I love it, and I'm gonna keep it, but at the same time, like if I cut that, it would relieve 3 minutes from it, and then So like with the after credits scene, the actual credits, and that thing, the credits are like over 6 minutes long. And so really like the movie's 2 hours and 45 minutes, but then like with the I don't know, it's like 2 hours and I'm keeping the after credit. I would completely keep the after credits scene, but 2 hours and 48 minutes sounds a lot better than 2 hours 51. But whatever, I kept it, and yeah, I guess I mean yeah, I mean, and then like that was pretty emotional for me seeing all the deleted videos, like all those clips. But like it might throw people off because like they'll be, or not really, like they'll probably think like, oh, like what I thought all the videos were deleted, like um I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, um I feel like with most of everything I've said the past 4 hours, I could have like condensed down to like just a few sentences instead of like a 6 minute ramble. But so I need to do better at condensing things and talking and things. Like if this was a panel at like a convention or something, to where I only had like 30 minutes, like it would be or like like it's like Kevin Smith. You ask him one question and he talks for like 12 minutes.
I know, right?
And yeah, but I mean, I'm saying like I'm sorry about that. It's just like I don't know.